one of my subscribers asked me to post a video for a video of oil change, how to do oil change for the beginners. So here we go. I well I'm not gonna be able to show you how to change an oil physically, but I'm gonna show you how to change oil, how to learn to change oil virtually. Yeah. So hopefully by learning these stories that I'm about to tell you, and also the 3 tips, you will be able to um, do your first oil change without any of these mistakes. Anyway, so let's start. The first, I'm going to tell you, I want to share with you my first oil change mistakes and ever. So when let me open the Safari first because I want to show you the steps of oil change. So really, as you can see, the first thing I did was to open to Google the steps in oil change. Okay, so um, and there are tons of them to show you how to do it. Okay, so it's very easy, and here we can pick this one, where it says how to change oil in 7 easy steps. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully, it doesn't give us any kind of videos or whatever. So, okay, here we go. This seems pretty straightforward. So, it's kind of old, 2013, 9 years ago. This guy posted, but here's so the first thing you need to do is you need to get an tool, right? And then you want to. I don't think this is necessary, but okay, get your car in the boot, so warm it up, and then you drain the car, and then put the oil pan back on. Put the oil pan back on. It's easier to forget the step before you think. Okay, and then find the oil filter. Now change it, and don't forget to refill the engine oil from the top, and don't forget to. And then you can take your well, it didn't say here, but you can take the drained used oil to any local mechanical shop and car repair shop, and they hopefully will take them, and most of them will take them because they do recycle those oils. But okay, so let me tell you what happened in the first in my story. So after I graduated from middle school, my dad decided it's time for me to learn how to do maintain my car, or a car, because he knows that I will be driving a car pretty soon. So I was taken to this local garage, and the uncle is the one-person guy, so he happened to be changing his oil. My dad just dropped me, and then he left. And then the uncle just started to show me how to change the car engine oil, and I just kept watching him. He asked for a tool. I gave him, socket wrench tool. He asked for oil filter tool. I gave him that. So I know those two tools. Never seen them before, but now I do, or I did. Anyway, so just before he asked me to do an oil change, and there happened to be a call, an emergency roll call. So he had to leave the shop, and he basically just instructed me to go ahead and do it without him, because he already showed me how to do it. So I was okay. So I took the wrench. So let me show you what the tool looked like in case you never see one. So the first tool is what's called a socket wrench tool. Again, I don't know why it's Bing. It should be Google, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Google, Bing, same thing. Search engine. You want to do the images, okay? So I want to show you the picture of what the tool looked like. And here we go. So this is the tool, okay? This is the tool. This is one end. This is the other end. Basically, this tool, it has this knob here. It's a triangle knob. When you turn this, just one click, Just turn. You will hear the click, and then it will change the direction of this tool to tighten the screw or loosen the screw. This needs this is probably a 3/8 of an inch or half an inch protruding part, and a socket will have to fit like these. Okay, like these sockets will have to be fit onto this stud here. These are the sockets. This is the tool, and these are the extension bar for this wrench socket tool. So you need to find the right size of the oil drain screw, and then you press this socket deeply, firmly into the screw and turn counterclockwise. Um, this particular uh, tool has a handle here. You turn it one way, it will you will be able to lock the screw, tighten the screw. You turn this thing the other way, like here. Okay, so you really just flip this over to the other side, and then it's going to change the direction whether you can tighten or loosen the socket or the screw. So let me also, at this point, let me show you what a uh, oil engine oil drain plug or screw look like. Engine oil drain screw. It basically looks like a hex shape screw, okay, like a male kind of screw, and also got thread. So there are threads in the oil pan that you can tighten or screw this into that hole, so the oil will not leak. So let's go back to my story here. So my story was I was able to use the socket wrench tool to unscrew, meaning I turn counterclockwise to unscrew the screw, and then I removed it by hand. And when I put it, and then the oil started to come out, right? And then I proceeded to change the oil filter of the car, and that was pretty smooth. I used the oil filter tool. Let's try to find that oil filter. What does an oil filter look like? So this is the oil filter. Okay, it's basically look like a cylinder, and it has rubber here. This is the rubber seal, and a lot of times because the heat, it's impossible to remove this thing by hand. So there's this oil filter wrench. Let's see what they look like. Okay, kind of thing. So the cheap one look like this. You can just put this around that filter that we just seen, and then turn it counterclockwise, and then you will be able to remove the oil filter. And here's another one that you grab, but mostly it's this kind. But you can see all kinds oil filter removal tool. Okay, but mostly it's this or this or this or this. So those are the oil filter range. So I remove the oil filter from top. Typically the oil filter sits on top, but the oil pan drain screw sits underneath the car. So you have to get underneath the car in order to be able to remove the oil pan drain screw. So that's my story. My story was when I put the oil drain screw back into the oil drain plug location. I used my hand, except I didn't tighten it well because I didn't know what the feel between the thread and also the screw. Whether it's I was told, well, later after I made the mistake, I was told when I stick that screw into the hole to try to feel the thread, I was supposed to use my hand But I didn't do that. I skipped that. I just used the tool, the socket wrench tool, and without feeling the thread. And you need to make sure you line up the screw with the hole. No cricket, otherwise you're gonna destroy the thread in the engine oil drain hole, and eventually it's gonna cause leak. As a matter of fact, for my story, it was worse. It caused a leak after I tightened the screw, and the good thing was I didn't tighten that screw using the tool too hard. In other words, I barely tightened it because I didn't know what I was doing for the very first time. So I thought I was done, and I just got up to the top of the car, opened the engine hood, fill the engine oil. And I was pretty happy I was done. And by the time the uncle came back, he saw a puddle of oil on the ground, and he knew something bad happened. He didn't scold at me or yell at me because it was my first oil change, and he was supposed to be there to watch me do it. Except he had an emergency roll call, so he had to leave. So he didn't. He quickly got underneath the car and quickly removed the oil drain screw, and he was able to fix the problem and re-drain the oil, of course, and then put in the new engine oil. And luckily the thread was not messed up too badly. It was a miracle, so that was my first oil change. And since then I became so afraid of any kind of mechanical work, and I didn't become a mechanic. And as you can imagine, after that nightmare, I refused to touch any tools. But regardless, so the second story I want to share with you is the. This is kind of that's why I have this search phrase up here. The second is it was a expensive $30,000 oil change. So instead of the story was a friend of mine's son bought a brand new Subaru SUV. He was so happy, but he decided to change the oil by himself for the very first time. So instead of draining the oil pan drain screw plug, he actually drained the transmission drain screw plug. So he emptied the transmission oil, and he filled the engine oil. Well, except when he filled the engine oil, he was like, "Oh, it's kind of weird. Why is this still full?" But he didn't suspect much because he didn't know better, and he didn't know enough. And anyway, so long story short, he decided to take a ride to see how he did. Of course, the car broke down in after 2 blocks, and luckily, he called Subaru, and Subaru came and quickly fixed the problem and put in the transmission oil, and everything was good. So he had to pay a couple $100s for tolls and for the car fixing, but anything else was okay. So not a $3,000 oil change. So it was a good ending. Now, so as you can see, as I started telling the story, the first thing I did was to Google search images instead of all or shopping or videos or maps or views. So the first thing I did is I started to Google search images, and that's how you buy. If you've never seen a part, that's how you Google it. You Google search images, so this way you know what the part looked like, and then or the tool looked like, or the thing looked like, and then you watch YouTube videos. And the third thing is for more complicated things that you don't see on YouTube videos, you can post a question on internet forum for car repairs. That's how I learned how to troubleshoot and maintain my outboard boat outboard engine. I'm not a boat mechanic or car mechanic, but thanks to today's internet, the convenience of internet, and a lot of people, especially those car mechanics or boat engine mechanics, or anybody who just is so knowledgeable with the electrical engineering degrees or major, and they know how to do these kind of things, they will frequent these forums and then to share their things, their experience, and post on the forum to help others. Tons of images and videos posted in these forums, embedded in these forums. So, and the the other amazement is if you pose a question in a forum, typically a very frequent forum used by many experts, um, you will get an answer right away. Okay, there are tons of people watching these forums all day long. You get an answer like, within a minute or two. So that's how you can get instant help for free by going, and of course you need to register. Well, most you need to register in order to be able to post any question on the forum. So let's see this. So oil drain plug location, and search images. I don't know why it changed to bin, but it doesn't matter. So here we go. So you see the oil drain plug location, and this is the 2003 F-150 oil drain plug front. Okay, and this is the oil pane drain plug diesel forum. So drain plug, drain plug, drain plug, drain plugs. Um, so for example, if I want to see Subaru, in Subaru, and if it's 2018 or 2020, I'll just type that in the front, and then I just hit enter, and then it gives me all the Subaru. Hopefully, okay, hopefully, then I will be able to find. And you can see this is a transmission, Subaru's Forester transmission. And this is the oil change. So when you get down there, it's so complicated. So you really need to do your um, homework before you get underneath the car. So don't rush to do your job. Do your internet search and just do some virtual research, and just like doing a virtual. See, here's the Forester oil screw. It's a hex shape. So and this is the tool. So this is the thing that you flip to the right side or left side to change the direction, to change whether you want to tighten the screw or loosen the screw. So here is another engine oil kind of thing, and you can see this one is oil paint. So the beautiful thing is you can do these kind of virtual things before you get underneath the car. So oil pan replacement. You can do oil pan replacement, oil pan screw, and the transmission screw. And then here you can see all kinds of details of a car underneath without actually going down the car. And then the more familiar with your car images, the better, or even the videos, the better. So you won't make this kind of mistake of this $3,000 oil change mistake. Okay, there you have it. If you have any requests for any kind of videos you like to see me posting, or have any kind of questions or comments, just feel free to post on the comments of this video. And thank you for watching and listening.